Yo, it is Friday, March 18th. Kyle's Apple Watch has all these little tiny red rings on them. Actually, they're not even full red rings. I think it means that he's not sleeping a lot. I don't know. Do babies do that to your life?
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be. They start to scale with me.
We were just joking because this is like the life of startup entrepreneur 101. Right? Kyle's got a big, large cup of coffee in front of him. It's his favorite coffee mug. I don't know. I think his stream might even have just frozen. Oh, no, he's back. He's back. I have my early mornings are for troublemakers mug because I need to remind myself. So if you didn't realize it, Kyle and his wife, they just had a baby during NADA. And last night, did baby decide to change the game a little on you?
Right. Man, it was tough. But we're making it. We're gonna get through. We had like 5 wonderful nights. We were like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then, the middle of the night last night, the 2 o'clock wake up, it wasn't happening. Set it down a few times, like came back for feet. It was all the things that, everything that's in the movies happened last night, basically.
Kyle's holding the baby like feet up. You're like, Kyle, you got to feed other way. Baby's the other way. But here you go. I mean, this is life. I'm set up right now because of some things that we're working on with our little foster baby. I'm at home today, and we are. I'm sitting in my 15-year-old's bedroom. Like, he usually gets up with me in the morning, so he got up. I totally hijacked his room, and I'm like, man, he's got a nice setup down here, but I can't use it. It's like he's got the gaming setup, so like I have the high back gaming chair right now. I feel like I should like be playing something, but I'm not.
You've got like a Twitch camera in the back, yeah.
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff in front of me. I even have there's even a power conditioner on the rack.
Right there,
but I'm not using any of that stuff. I have multiple screens and a keyboard that makes these like special clicks. I don't know if you know that, but gamers, no, they switch out their keycaps, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, check this out. Click, 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 click. Now listen to this one." Click, 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 click. He's like, "That's so nice." Right?
It's so nice. I know where they all are. It's so great.
So no, it's about the sound. It's about the sound they make. It's crazy. So either way, this is the life of an entrepreneur. And I think it's very automotive, right? Because automotive industry is always like, we're going to get the job done. We're getting the job done. Like there's no question. And so we're getting the job done this morning. We have some news for you, some thoughts. But first, we want to talk about, Kyle, you had you got out a little bit yesterday for the first time. I think this baby came.
I got out. I was really excited. We had gotten a message from John Karpinski over at iHeartMedia that he was going to be in town, and I had never met him. We had kind of communicated online, and iHeart, if you don't know, has 2 offices: one in New York, one in Nashville, and the one in Nashville is at a really cool place. Actually, interestingly enough, the one in Nashville is at a place called 1200 Broad. And so it is right on Broadway. And the location that is actually a location that I used to work at a dealership.
No way.
Called Nelson Mazda that used to sit on that property. They tore it down, went sky high, which is what they do with everything in Nashville, right? And so it was kind of like surreal to be back talking about automotive in that space. And it was really fun. The space is really cool. They've got this really neat entrance. You can go to my Instagram or the Automotive State of the Union Instagram right now. Check out the story. And it's got just this like really cool red entrance, and then they've got event space and meeting space. But it was also really encouraging just to talk to John and see what the passion that iHeart has for automotive and some of the things that OEMs are looking to do with podcasting and with thought leadership and with lifestyle brands, because the OEMs are really leaning into audio as a way to brand build. So if you we could probably go a whole podcast on it, and I might blow some like NDA type stuff, but
don't do that.
No, but it was really cool to kind of hear that like OEMs like GM and Hyundai are really leaning into this to the podcasting, to the radio space, to brand build in a unique way, to leverage personalities and influencers, to essentially associate with cool, right? And so really interesting perspective and to hear. Actually, he told me about, this is wild. He told me about a dealer in, I believe, Dallas that has gone to gone to radio, and in his radio commercials, he mentions cup holders 5 times. He says the word cup holders 5 times in a 60-second long spot. And he calls the dealer because he knows the dealer well. He's like, why do you keep mentioning cup holders?
What's up with this? So you have a bet with somebody? Like, I bet you can't say cup holders within 60 seconds.
Right. He was like, what? He's like, what in the world? And he goes, no. You don't understand. The majority of people that I'm after in my community are single moms or stay-at-home moms that have kids. Actually, we sell a lot of vans and a lot of large SUVs to families, and the mom is the primary purchase decision maker. That's what our market looks like.
Yep.
And he said, you wouldn't believe, but they always come in checking out
cup holders,
where the cup holders are. And so I'm just the person that talks to them as humans purchasing based on their purchase intent.
Brilliant guy.
Whoa,
man. Right. The cup holders, cup holders. How many horsepower? Nobody cares. Cup holders. No. Right. The cup holders are going to sell.
I got enough cup holders for me, the 3 kids in the back, and my extra coffee when I stop at Starbucks, and it doesn't get in the way.
Question, like, will a sippy cup fit in this cup holder?
Bingo.
Right.
Oh, that's a big question.
That is the question, right? That is the question when you have a toddler. Will a sippy cup fit in the cup holder? Dude, that's amazing. I had no idea that it was on the old side of the Nelson Mazda. That's pretty awesome. First of all,
it's really neat, yeah.
But to think about, we were talking about brand yesterday, and brand. I think every brand needs to operate like a fashion brand, because fashion brands just are able to connect on this level where you identify with the product as reflecting you. I say that brand is actually a mirror that reflects your values back at you.
Absolutely.
And so when you think of like the fashion brands out there, whether it's, clothing or, a bag or sunglasses or something like that, that is an element of when you put that on and you affiliate with that brand, you're like, oh, I like these because that brand is energetic and I feel like I'm energetic, or that brand is responsible and I feel like I'm responsible. So it's really cool that when OEMs and anyone in automotive, I think every dealer here too, can understand that brand is that reflection back at you, and then leverage, like we've been talking about, media, audio media. Like this morning, we're like, hey, like we're up early. We're doing this podcast. Why? Because you have to keep creating. You have to keep creating or your business doesn't go forward. Let's talk about some news. We have some things going on.
Wait. Speaking of brand,
stop.
We don't have we don't have all that this morning. We apologize, everybody.
We only have intro outro music today. We're running lean.
All did it perfect. So March Madness has started, and of all the cool things that are happening in March Madness, we've got Kentucky getting upset yesterday, which is personally just a massive win because I'm a Duke fan and have been since I was a little baby, and so anytime Kentucky gets beat by anyone, life's good.
It's like me and the Dallas Cowboys, right?
On the brand side, on the things that we talk about is all the players are now eligible to use NIL, which is name, image, and likeness. So they can use their brand to acquire finances by brands picking them up to advertise. So
that was illegal. That was against NCAA rules up until this past year. We have some people and some friends in the industry. Dave Meltzer is one of them. And that change in the rules, right? You have all these college athletes, and it's like, hey, all these colleges are monetizing off these big name players. Like the colleges are using it to raise money. The colleges are using it to boost ticket sales and all that. Like, why can't the players like take a piece of their own brand, right? And this is the first year. So that's just so you know, it used to be illegal. The rules and regulations were changed this year. So this is the first year of March Madness where NIL is a real thing.
Yep. So now you've got brands like Dollar Shave Club, Wingstop, Great Clips, Sheets and Giggles, all leaning into finding these players that have some brand level affiliation that people are attracted to utilize their name, their face, their brand to advertise. There's a couple brackets that are actually using the name, image, and likeness, because if you think about that, you think back to like bracketology or all of the brackets, they don't use any player on them because they actually couldn't. So it's
They
actually
can't, right?
illegal for
Oh,
them
for
to put the
sure.
player on. So
Oh
now
yeah,
they can actually use the player, right? Because you think about, NBA finals. It's all the players are up
only the
on there,
players.
right? Well,
Yes.
they're getting paid for that stuff,
Yeah,
right? Well, now I think it's actually exciting from the brand perspective of
for
all of this
sure.
stuff to be able to utilize the players that are actually going to be playing that everybody knows. They watch them through the McDonald's All-Stars, all that type of stuff. And so, yeah, I think it's a win-win for everybody. And goodness sakes, all the money floating around college athletics, they should
It's
get a little
ridiculous.
cut.
Oh, for sure. And the Dollar Shave Club, I can't remember who it was, but he actually like grew some facial hair like to highlight like it's perfect play, and they're calling him the first
Genius.
chinfluencer, right?
They are so good.
I know that.
Dollar Shave Club is a master class in brand build.
No
Master
doubt.
class.
No doubt. And so it's good to see that happening. And a lot of these college athletes too, they're not going to go into pro ball, but they're
No.
really popular. So they have some leverage right now. So it's good to see them be able to build a little leverage, because you know what? If I'm a college player, I'm probably not going pro. I'm doing everything I can to build my brand now, because I have all the say I go to Duke, right? I'm never going to go pro, but guess what? There are a lot of incredible businessmen and businesswomen that have graduated and now own companies, or CEOs and executives that are now in companies that want to be close to me right now because I'm on the team, right? So I'm their guy, or I'm their gal. And once the season's over, my career's over, guess what? Who am I calling for a job? All of those people, right?
No
And so
doubt.
that's a great opportunity. We didn't talk about this. We were going to lead with this story today, but we didn't, because it didn't happen because, complications, things happen. But Brian Kramer, one of our very own investors, is set to sell the first car in the metaverse today. Right. I told my wife about this last night. She's like, wait a minute. So someone's buying a car. Someone's buying a car and it's only in the metaverse. I'm like, no.
I know. That's my wife said the same exact thing. She was like, they're buying a fake car.
Yeah.
In a fake world. No. They're buying a real car in a fake world, but that's kind of real.
I was like, no. Like the person, I was like, you've played the PlayStation 4. You put those on, and you walk around. Well, it's like you walk around, and then you go into the store, and Brian Kramer's there. She's like, the real Brian Kramer, or like a fake Brian Kramer? Literally, this is the conversation
Yes,
we're having.
the answer is yes.
Absolutely. Right. And so, but he's teed up to sell the transact in the very first vehicle in the metaverse. We're going to report on it. We're going to get the video. We're going to keep you updated. But we thought it was going to be this morning's hot news. But but the car business, right?
Yes. I can't wait to ask you about it, because it's so interesting. They've done so much to reduce the transaction time, reduce friction, and early adopters, you always have to increase friction, increase transaction time. So
Right.
there's a level that both parties are coming to this saying, hey, we're going to have to figure this out. It's not going to work as seamlessly and flawlessly. And so, but I was telling my wife, I was like, this isn't going to be a regular thing that everybody's doing in the next 60 days, but there has to be someone that tries it out, that kind of feels out what's the possibilities, what are the things that we could do with this, and to attempt it first. Big deal.
I remember the first pizza you could order on the internet. It was Pizza Hut actually were the ones that did it. I think it was Pizza Hut and Domino's. I don't know. It was in the movie. Sandra Bullock was the star. It was called The Net. I don't think you remember that. No. You probably don't, right? This is real. Look it up. The Net, right? It was very scary. And I was like, oh my gosh, she just ordered a pizza on the computer, right? But everybody was afraid. You have to put your credit card information in. I was talking with Brian yesterday, and he goes, all the work we've been doing to streamline digital retailing and the back end processes, he's literally it's like we were installing all the mechanicals and all the plumbing to make this so much easier, because it's the same, right? That just happens to be where you finalize and execute the transaction, but all the compliance, all the connections, all the AP, everything working together is where it's at. And like, hey, we'll see where it goes. But I mean, it's a real thing, right? Someone's really going to transact in the metaverse, and whether or not you like it, think it's good or bad for society, society doesn't care. Right? Technology just doesn't care. And so it's happening. We'll let you know what's going on with that. A couple other things. We saw mortgage rates peak over 4% for the first time since 2019. So pre-pandemic. And a lot of that just has to do with the Fed raising their benchmark rate another quarter point. If you're not aware of how this works, a little education here. Really, when the Fed raises the interest rate, banks, when they lend you money for a credit card or for a house or for a car, basically banks borrow money from one another, right? They'll borrow And I know that might sound a little strange, but you have these big banks that primarily are in mortgages, and they might lend money to your local bank, who then, uses that money to give you a mortgage, and everyone's making a little bit, right?
Yep.
You make a little percentage on a lot of money. And that's kind of how it works, which is why the Fed rate going up is going to affect all consumer rates, including, mortgages is kind of like the leading indicator. But right after that are car loans, credit card interest rates, all types of financing. And, the Fed's saying they're going to continue to raise rates to curb inflation. But,
and the home rates are going to outpace it, right? Because they're going to try and be ahead of the pace of the Fed,
because they get locked in, right? Because once you lock in my rate, that's my rate.
Exactly.
I'm so happy to say that over the last year, I have refinanced my house. Because I thought I was crushing it. My first home loan was probably back in, 2008, 2007, something like that. And my interest rate was 7%.
Oh.
Right. But I remember feeling like a rock star because it was like 8.5% the year before. Right. Our parents, like my parents, when they bought their first home, it was 14%.
Golly.
Right. It's ancient history for us, but to think that we can't be back there, it's just we haven't seen it yet. So when I bought my current house, I thought I was killing it at 4%. I was like, man, I just stole this thing, right? But I locked in at like 2.25% over the pandemic, and I think that's going to be seems so surreal. So if
it's going to be so surreal, I'm in the same. I'm about the same, and it's going to be so surreal to think I mean, we're looking at houses, so I'm like, man, this could be brutal.
Right. Better pull the trigger quick. Quick. And so, but that's if in the car dealership in the world, right? Like people are going to be paying more for financing. Always affects your payment, affects the consumer mindset, right? Because inflation's starting to squeeze. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. It's starting to squeeze. So price sensitivity is going to just increase. So, Kyle, I think you said it yesterday. It's like, make sure the value proposition of purchasing the car, the ease of purchasing the car, like we need to do what we need to do to remove more friction from the process, even if that means, talking about cup holders.
It's great. Find your cup holder. Find your cup holder.
Know where your cup, find your cup holder here. Find your next cup holder. So I think we're running a little long today. Two quick things. So VW, Audi CEO Markus Duesmann said, they're obviously having wiring harness issues is like a big part of the manufacturing that was being done in the Ukraine. And I saw automotive news story where there are Ukrainian workers still pumping out wiring harnesses literally next to bomb shelters. He said, he says in this automotive news article, many of our suppliers, especially for wiring harnesses, were in Ukraine or are in Ukraine. They're desperately, even with people staying there, which is incredible, trying to produce and doing so always close and doing so close to a bomb shelter, right? So they're in there making wire harness next to a bomb shelter. I mean, talk about some grit. That just takes all my excuses away.
Yeah, you're like, After I read that, I'm like, I should be up at this time after the baby slept. Right.
I got a little less sleep. Right.
I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. So, I think with that, I think we're going to leave with that as a little encouragement to the spirit of the automotive industry and the spirit of just human achievement and human perseverance. It's Friday. Make sure you get ready for your big weekend. Care about some people. Don't make excuses, and let's go.